Taliaferro. May all your promises come true. May all your promises come true. Lynn Taliaferro.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow health toasters, and honored guests, we all make promises. What a good feeling it is to either give or to receive a promise. Not everyone keeps their promises. And when this happens, it's quite a different experience. Recent research indicates that broken promises are having a devastating effect on our society. Those most deeply impacted are children in their formative stage of life, developing mental notes and patterns about truth and lying, about trust and relationships. I'm sure that you can see now why it's so important for us to keep our promises. And not only that, but to make sure other people keep their promises to us. What if there was a way in which you could be the impetus behind someone keeping their promise? If you knew the answer, if you knew the secret, would you use it? I'm going to share that secret with you tonight. I call it the P and D code. P stands for persistence, and D stands for determination. It's not complicated to use. It might interest you to know that most children are aware of the code, and they know how to use it. Let me demonstrate the practical application of this technique, known as the P&D code, through a personal story. It happened when I was only 8 years old, growing up on a large farm in Mississippi. It was a late, lazy summer afternoon. Mom, Dad, and I were cooling off on the front porch, sipping iced sweet tea, when all of a sudden, I had a brilliant idea. It was the best one I'd had all day. So I jumped from my seat and I ran over to my dad to whisper in his ears. "Hi, Daddy," concurred with a smile and a nod as we set our eyes on Mom. She said, "Okay, so what are you two up to now?" Dad gestured that I should be the one to tell him. And I said, "Please, Mom, please. Mom, please make blackberry cobbler tonight, Mom. You're the best cobbler maker in the whole world, Mom." I wasn't just buttering her up, it was true. Mom had a black belt in cobbler making. She said, "Okay, fine. I'll make the cobbler if you two will pick the berries and wash them. Wait, you also have to pick enough berries for 2 cobblers." Oh, I squealed with delight as I ran into the house, came back with the biggest bucket that I could find. Dad and I walked to the blackberry thicket and began picking sweet, plump, and juicy berries. Our bucket was almost filled to the brim when we heard a blood-curdling yell coming from the front porch. It was Mom, screaming over and over again, "Mad dog! Dad! Mad dog! Mad dog!" For those of you not familiar with the term mad dog, it's a dog with advanced rabies in the latter stages of the disease. Dad and I looked up the road to see a huge mad dog headed straight for us. Dad picked me up and literally threw me into the middle of the blackberry thicket. But I strained through the thicket reaching for my berries. Dad, knowing that I would not give up without a fight, handed me the berries before jumping in beside me, only moments before the huge dog ran into a bush right in front of us. His eyes were still set. His mouth was frothy with foam. He bit the bush before continuing on his way. Dad and I stayed in the thicket for a while just to make sure he was gone. Then Dad climbed out, looked all around, and then reached in for me, but I handed him my bucket of berries first. Dad took the bucket, shaking his head, and then he pulled me out. He gave me strict and clear instructions. He said, run home, tell your mama to bring me the shotgun and the shovel. Now go! I crouched low to the ground, like an athlete getting ready to run a race. Then I reached over and got my bucket, pulled it to my chest, and ran as fast as I could, using my arms like pedals to keep the berries from falling. I jumped on the porch panting. Mom, Dad said, bring the shotgun and the shovel. As I reached down to retrieve the fruit berries that fell during my ascent. Mom took those things to Dad, and he went alone to hunt down the mad dog. Mom and I stood on the front porch holding each other for a while until I suggested, Mom, why don't we start washing the berries while Dad takes care of the mad dog? I'm sure she went along with my suggestion just to take her mind off what could happen to Dad. The cobblers were in the oven baking by the time Dad returned. We ran to him asking, are you okay, Dad? He said that he was, that he had buried the mad dog so that no other animal would contract this disease. And then, in his usual fashion, Dad started teasing me. I've never seen anybody with more persistence and determination in my life. And at that moment, we all caught a whiff of the cooking blackberry cobbler. And Dad said, that sure does smell good. Thanks for saving our cobbler. But you know, that day I not only saved our cobbler, I helped Mom keep her promise. We built a family memory, and I made a discovery, which I'm sharing with you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, next time someone tries to go back on a promise they made to you, return to your childhood memory of how it used to work. Apply the P&D code. Don't give up too quickly. And may all of your promises come true. Madam President.